Okay. So my presentation is on how to make a professional weather forecast. Now, first things first, a studio does go a long way. That is the way that I make studio forecasts is inside of a studio. Now, I do that with the Rutgers Weather Watcher Club, and I've been doing it since I was a freshman, and I've been using the same studio since then. But you do not need a studio to get started. It does help a lot, but it does take a lot to set up and it does take a lot to get used to. So if you just want to start doing weather forecasts on your own, you do not need a studio. All you need is a phone and a nice scenic background. When I was or this was the start of sophomore year, we had an issue with TriCaster, our uploading software, or our recording software, and we had to do forecasts outside of the studio. So this is one of the forecasts I did out by Route 18 on the overview. I did an outdoor forecast with just a phone and the phone audio. We didn't have an access microphone. We didn't use an extra camera. We just use a phone, and that's something that you can do too. Now make sure that you do have professional attire. Professional attire is something that is very important for doing studio forecasts. When you're doing studio forecasts, if you want to go into the professional field, this is something that people are going to look at and they're going to be like, do I want this person working for me? Especially because if you do want to go into broadcasting, you are going to need to make reels. Reels are a short 6-minute video of just all of your highlights from when you've done weather forecasting. And if you're wearing something like a sweatshirt, they're gonna be like, oh, I guess he really doesn't care. But if you have the professional attire on, they're gonna think, oh wow, he cares. And he makes a great forecast. So that's a great thing to have. So suits are not required either, but just make sure that you are formal, buttoned up shirt, dress pants, and you'll be fine. Use your publicly available information. Weather Underground, Radar Omega, all these places are great places to get stuff for your forecast. The place that we record on or our digital software that we make the forecast on is WSI. That is a paid subscription, but there are other things that you can use, such as OBS. OBS is another thing that we use. That's our official recording software. We like to get most of our information from NOAA, the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center, and AccuWeather. That's where we get most of our information for our forecasts. When you're doing expressions, just make sure that you use body language in your forecast. When you're doing a forecast, you need to interact with your slides. You can't just stand there like a board, and also make sure that you're not flapping your arms like a pigeon. You need to make sure that you present confidence and that you're not overly anxious looking while you're talking. Make sure that you're not rushing. You need to speak elegantly. You need to enunciate. You need to make sure that what you're saying is clear and that the audience can hear it. And that you also need to make sure that you can present it in such a way that they can understand what you're showing them. Also, make sure that you use professional language. Don't say anything like new gen language, like Riz or weird stuff like that. Make sure that you use professional language. Lastly, we're going to talk about uploading your forecasts. Make sure that you have a catchy title. It goes a long way when you're trying to get it out to different people. And also make sure that you do have a general description so that if people don't want to watch the video, they can just look at the description and be like, I guess that's what we have. What we upload to as the Rutgers Weather Watchers is we upload to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. But there are a bunch of other places that you can upload where you would like. All right, that is all. Thank you so much for watching and get forecasting.